Elena's discovery spread through the scientific community like wildfire. Within weeks, research facilities across the globe shifted focus to this mysterious golden energy that responded to human thought. The Terra Nova phenomenon defied classification. Neither radiation nor conventional energy, it seemed to exist in a previously undetectable quantum layer interwoven with our reality. "It's almost like it was waiting for us to find it," Elena explained to the hastily assembled International EU Science Commission. She demonstrated by holding her hand over a containment field, golden tendrils of energy rising to meet her fingertips like a living thing seeking connection. The United States and European Union jointly established Project Luminous to study potential applications, while Russia and China launched their own competing programs. As geopolitical tensions escalated, the energy itself seemed to become more responsive, more powerful with each experiment. Dr. Mikhail Volkov, Elena's former professor and mentor, called her with a warning at 3 a.m. "Elena, these energy patterns, they're changing, evolving. Whatever Terra Nova is, I don't think it's just reacting to us, it's learning." Security around the research facilities tightened as military interest intensified. General Williams of the United States Space Force personally toured CERN's expanded Terra Nova wing. "Can it be weaponized?" he asked bluntly. "That's the wrong question," Elena replied. "It's like asking if human consciousness can be weaponized. Terra Nova doesn't work that way. It amplifies intention, not force." The breakthrough came unexpectedly during a synchronized global test. Researchers on 5 continents attempted to harmonize their Terra Nova fields, creating a momentary network spanning the planet. For 3.7 seconds, every human connected to the experiment experienced a profound sense of unity, thoughts flowing freely between minds separated by thousands of miles. Elena found herself simultaneously in her Swiss laboratory and walking along a Brazilian beach with Dr. Rodriguez, whom she had never met in person. "It's a bridge," she whispered in realization, "not just between energy states, but between minds." The test ended when an unauthorized intrusion triggered containment protocols. Intelligence sources later confirmed a coordinated espionage attempt to extract Terra Nova research. In the ensuing chaos, primary containment failed at the Beijing facility. The night sky above China's capital illuminated with spectacular golden auroras as Terra Nova energy cascaded upward in magnificent spirals visible from orbit. What nobody on Earth realized was that the energy signature had propagated far beyond our atmosphere. Across the galaxy, automated sentinel systems belonging to ancient civilizations registered the unprecedented energy pattern. Dormant monitoring stations activated, focusing powerful sensors on the previously unremarkable third planet of an ordinary yellow star. On the gas giant Zalaxor Prime, the Grand Council convened an emergency session for the first time in 7 centuries. The honored speaker's translucent tentacles trembled as she addressed the gathering. The ancient texts speak of this energy signature. After countless millennia of searching, it appears the inheritors have finally awakened. The question before this council is simple. Do we welcome them, or eliminate them before they discover their true potential? Thousands of light years away, the mighty Arxian fleet altered course, silently accelerating toward Earth. The Galactic Concordat delegation established their base on a remote island in the Pacific, refusing to meet in existing human structures. They created a breathtaking crystalline pavilion that seemed to hover just above the water's surface. Inside, human representatives found themselves surrounded by beings so diverse that their minds struggled to process the variety of forms life could take. Elena stepped forward as Earth's scientific ambassador, her heart pounding as she faced alien scientists who had been studying cosmic phenomena since before mammals existed on Earth. "We have questions," she began simply. Zalaxor's translucent blue form shimmered as he responded. "As do we, Dr. Reyes. Your species has accomplished in decades what others required millennia to discover. It is concerning." The Arxian representative, a 6-winged being named Telzar whose feathers constantly shifted through impossible colors, moved closer. Unlike the others, she showed no fear of humans. "Show us this Terra Nova manipulation again," she requested, her voice like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. When Elena activated a small Terra Nova field, the alien delegation reacted, with a mixture of fascination and alarm. Several representatives physically retreated, while others leaned forward, recording instruments extended. "Impossible," whispered a silicon-based entity, its crystalline body vibrating with emotion. "The primordial force responds to her neural patterns without technological mediation," Telzer's wings flared. "It is as the ancient texts predicted. The final inheritors have awakened." The diplomatic meetings continued for weeks, with information exchange carefully regulated by both sides. Earth learned of the vast galactic community, millions, of worlds bound together in an uneasy peace, with technological development strictly controlled through carefully managed stages. The revelation that humanity had independently developed technologies that bypassed dozens of these stages caused considerable alarm. In private, Salaxor revealed the truth to Elena and a small group of world leaders. "Your species represents an existential threat to galactic stability," he explained. "Half the Concordat believes you should be eliminated before you spread beyond your solar system." President Okafor of the African Union straightened her spine. "And the other half?" "Believes you might be our salvation," Telzar interjected, stepping forward. "The void cascade approaches, a phenomenon that consumes matter, energy, even space-time itself. Our most advanced defenses barely slow it, but there are ancient prophecies of a species that would arise with unique mastery over the primordial force." The meeting was interrupted by alarms. Outside, the night sky filled with shimmering lights as dozens more alien vessels entered Earth orbit. The chamber's display showed Concordat ships taking defensive positions. "What's happening?" Elena demanded. Salaxor's skin darkened with concern. "The Severance faction has arrived. Those who voted for your immediate quarantine. They've come to ensure we aren't offering technological concessions beyond approved protocols." Telzar moved protectively toward the humans. "They fear what you might become. The path to galactic citizenship normally takes thousands of years of careful monitoring and controlled advancement. Your species has already broken countless developmental regulations. By existing," Elena realized aloud, "our very nature violates your rules." Salaxor nodded gravely. "The question facing the galaxy is whether Earth represents its greatest threat or its final hope." General Zhang's command center beneath the Himalayas buzzed with activity as Terra Nova researchers worked alongside military personnel from former rival nations. The threat from space had accomplished what centuries of diplomacy could not: genuine global unity. "Defense grid status?" Zhang asked, his voice calm despite the crisis unfolding. Colonel Yamamoto gestured to the holographic display. 73% operational. The European and North American sectors are fully online, but we're still integrating the Asian networks. Dr. Reyes entered with her international team, faces drawn from 3 days without sleep. "We've modified the Terra Nova resonance frequencies," she announced. "If our calculations are correct, the shield should not only block the antimatter weaponry, but potentially redirect the energy." Zhang nodded. "It's untested technology against weapons we barely understand. The fate of our species rests on a theory." "It's more than theory," Elena insisted. "The Arxians provided enough data on antimatter weapons for us to model the interaction. They're risking their standing in the Concordat by helping us." The sensors blared with new alerts. The enemy vessels had launched their payloads. Dozens of antimatter missiles now streaking toward Earth's major population centers. President Okafor addressed the emergency session via secure link. "Activate the Terra Nova defense grid. May God help us all." Elena took her position at the control nexus where Terra Nova sensitive operators from 6 continents linked their consciousness through experimental neural interfaces. "Remember your training," she said to the nervous faces. "Don't fight the energy. Guide it, like water flowing through channels." As the antimatter weapons entered Earth's atmosphere, golden energy surged through transmission towers worldwide. Spectacular domes of shimmering light formed over cities, growing and connecting until the entire planet appeared wrapped in a glowing net visible from orbit. The first antimatter warhead struck the shield above New York. Instead of the expected, catastrophic explosion, the shield pulsed brilliantly, absorbing the impossible energy. Similar impacts followed over Beijing, Moscow, London, and 30 other targets. "It's working," shouted a technician. But Elena noticed the power readings climbing dangerously. "The absorption capacity is maxing out," she warned. "We need to redirect the energy or the grid will collapse." Zhang pointed to the secondary systems. "The planetary power network. Can we channel it there?" Elena nodded and quickly realigned the Terra Nova field harmonics. The golden shields began to pulse rhythmically, transferring the absorbed antimatter energy into Earth's power grid. Across the planet, power stations surged with more electricity than humanity had ever produced. In the command center, cheers erupted as the last antimatter weapon was neutralized. Satellite feeds showed the attacking alien vessels retreating, clearly shocked by Earth's unexpected defense capability. Hours later, the Arxian delegation arrived with Zalaxor. The blue-skinned ambassador seemed genuinely impressed. "You've accomplished in weeks what took other civilizations centuries," he said, studying the Terra Nova control systems. "The Concordate Council has voted. Earth will be offered conditional membership status." "On what terms?" Zhang asked warily. "Access to knowledge repositories, limited trade rights, and cultural exchange," Zalaxor explained. "But also restrictions on expansion and technology development without oversight." Elena exchanged glances with Zhang. They both recognized this for what it was: an attempt to control humanity's explosive growth while benefiting from their unique abilities. "We'll consider your offer," Elena replied diplomatically. "But Earth will determine its own destiny." Sophia Okonkwo fought to maintain her composure as the Academy's security forces surrounded the student gathering. The crystalline halls of the Concordate Academy, normally serene and filled with quiet scholarly discussion, now echoed with angry voices from dozens of species. "This cannot be suppressed any longer," she declared, her Terra Nova-enhanced voice carrying through the vast chamber. The golden energy that had become humanity's signature flowed around her hands as she gestured to the holographic evidence floating before the assembled students. "For millennia, the elder races have deliberately withheld technology from emerging civilizations, not for our protection, but to maintain their dominance." The security chief, a towering reptilian being named Draxus, stepped forward. "Student Okonkwo, you have accessed restricted archives without authorization. This constitutes a Level 1 violation of Academy protocols." Sophia stood her ground. "And what you've done constitutes a violation of the Concordate's founding principles. Equal opportunity for all sentient life, remember?" Around her, students from younger civilizations murmured in agreement. The Larathi delegation, insectoid beings whose homeworld had been kept at pre-spaceflight technology levels for 3,000 years, clicked their mandibles angrily. The Vexari students, with their crystalline skin, literally glowed with indignation. "The human speaks truth," announced Kelzar, heir to the Vexari collective. "My ancestors discovered antimatter principles 8 centuries ago, only to have that research confiscated as premature development. Now we know why," Draxus signaled to his security team. "This assembly is unauthorized. All students will return to their quarters immediately for individual processing." Instead of dispersing, the crowd moved protectively around Sophia. Her roommate Laurel of the aquatic Merrick species linked arms with her. "We stand with Earth," she declared, water vapor rising from her gills in agitation. The security forces activated their restraint fields, but something unexpected happened. The human students present instinctively channeled Terra Nova energy, creating a golden barrier that the Academy systems couldn't penetrate. "How are they doing that?" demanded a security officer. "That technology isn't taught until 7th-level studies. They're humans," Draxus replied grimly. "They don't follow normal developmental patterns." The standoff might have ended peacefully, if not for the arrival of Elder Professor Garax. The ancient being, whose species had been among the Concordates, founders surveyed the scene with 12 eyes blinking independently. "This insurrection proves what I have long argued," Garax announced. "The humans are a destabilizing influence on galactic order. Their access to Terra Nova energy makes them inherently dangerous to proper developmental protocols. His security override shut down the gravity systems, sending students tumbling in confusion, except for the humans who instinctively created Terra Nova fields to stabilize themselves and nearby allies. Sophia used the chaos to transfer the complete archive, files to her neural implant. Knowledge belongs to everyone, she broadcast to all Academy communication channels. I'm releasing everything, the suppressed technologies, the falsified historical records, the deliberate sabotage of developing worlds. As Academy security scrambled to contain the situation, similar revelations spread to academies across 17 worlds where human students had been sent to study. The carefully maintained hierarchy of the Concordat began to fracture along ancient fault lines of resentment and suppressed innovation. The Academy Wars had begun. Captain Darius Chen held his breath as the impossible materialized within the Concordat supply depot. The experimental jump had worked perfectly, bypassing the hyperspace blockade entirely. His crew, both human and alien allies from the Stellar Alliance, moved with practiced efficiency. Secure the quantum communication hub, Darius ordered quietly. Download the Concordat fleet positions and transmit to Alliance Command. Lieutenant Jackson, her hands glowing with controlled Terra Nova energy, interfaced directly with the alien systems. Their security architecture is responding to me like I have full clearance, she whispered in amazement. It's almost like the systems were designed for us. Darius finished her thought. Another piece of the puzzle. The revelation of the Concordat's technological suppression had fractured the galactic community. Nearly 100 younger civilizations had joined Earth's Stellar Alliance, while the elder races retreated into increasingly defensive positions. The war had begun as a series of academic protests, but quickly escalated to military confrontation when the Concordat attempted to quarantine Earth. "Captain, we have company," warned the Larathi sensor officer, antennae twitching. "Concordat patrol, heavy cruiser class, entering sensor range." Darius nodded calmly. "Prepare for another jump. Have we got what we came for?" Jackson disconnected from the system. "More than we expected. Sir, I found references to something called the Precursor Initiative in their classified archives. They've been monitoring dormant precursor sites for millions of years." The ship trembled as enemy weapons locked on. The impossible vanished in a flash of golden light, reappearing 2 sectors away in a nebula that masked their energy signature. Back at Alliance headquarters on Mars, Dr. Elena Reyes reviewed the stolen data with growing concern. "The Concordat knows more about the precursors than they've admitted," she explained to the Alliance Council. "They've been systematically hiding or destroying precursor artifacts for millennia." General Zhang studied the star charts. "Why? What are they afraid of?" "I believe they fear what the artifacts might tell us," Elena replied. "According to these records, precursor technology responds only to specific neural patterns remarkably similar to human brainwaves." The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The silence was broken by a young technician rushing in with urgent news. "Dr. Reyes, General Zhang, we've detected unusual energy signatures on 17 human colony worlds. Crystalline structures are emerging from the ground at precisely the same moment. The holographic display showed identical monuments rising on planets hundreds of light years apart. Each crystal pulsed with the same golden energy that humans channeled through. Terra Nova technology. Ambassador Telzar of the Arxians, who had defected to the Alliance, spread her 6 wings in an expression of awe. The awakening begins. The precursors reach out to their inheritors. As Alliance scientists studied the monuments, they discovered complex mathematical sequences that rearranged themselves when observed by human minds. The patterns formed messages, fragments, of knowledge left by an ancient civilization that had seemingly anticipated humanity's arrival on the galactic stage. "They knew we would come," Elena whispered, as she traced the flowing equations with her fingertip. "They prepared for us." Across Concordat space, elder race leaders received the reports with growing dread. The moment they had feared for eons had arrived. The command center on Mars fell silent as the holographic display showed the void cascade accelerating toward populated space. The phenomenon defied conventional physics. A wave of absolute darkness that consumed matter, energy, and even space-time itself. The Arxian defensive line has failed, reported Admiral Khatri, her face grim. Their chronoton barriers collapsed in under 3 minutes. 4 billion lives lost. Dr. Reyes studied the energy readings, her silver hair glowing in the light of the displays. The cascade is adapting to each defense we throw at it. It's almost intelligent. General Zhang turned to the precursor artifacts they had assembled in the center of the room. These monuments appeared just as the cascade accelerated. That can't be coincidence. Elena nodded, running her fingers across the crystalline surface of the nearest artifact. Golden energy followed her touch like ripples on water. I've been analyzing the mathematical patterns. They're not just messages, they're instructions. The room erupted in debate as Alliance representatives argued about their next move. The Vixari ambassador slammed his crystalline fist down. We should retreat to the Galactic Rim. The outer systems might survive for another century. Abandoning billions to die, countered the Lorathi representative. Our colony worlds would be the first sacrificed. Elena raised her hand, silencing the argument. The precursor instructions describe a network, a consciousness bridge created by linking thousands of human minds directly to the Terra Nova energy field. You're talking about an unprecedented neural linkage, Zhang said quietly. The strain would be enormous, fatal to many participants, Elena acknowledged, but it might create a counter-resonance to the void cascade's frequency. The Arxian ambassador Telzar stepped forward, her wings drawn close in respect. Our most ancient texts speak of such a defense, the luminous barrier created by the precursors in their final war. We thought it merely legend. Emergency protocols activated worldwide as the call went out for volunteers. Within hours, 10,000 Terra Nova-sensitive humans gathered at strategic points across Alliance territory. The Helios Nexus, a massive space station positioned at the gravitational center of the approaching cascade, became the focal point. Sophia Okonkwo, now commander of the Terra Nova Corps, supervised the preparation of the volunteers. Each amplifier connects directly to your neural pathways, she explained as technicians fitted the devices. You'll experience the consciousness of everyone in the network simultaneously. A young volunteer raised her hand. Will it hurt? Sophia didn't sugarcoat the truth. Yes, but together, we might save trillions of lives. At Elena's signal, the network activated. Golden energy coursed through the amplifiers, connecting 10,000 human minds into a single consciousness, spread across light years of space. The volunteers gasped as they experienced each other's thoughts, memories, and emotions in a devastating flood of sensation. Elena monitored the energy buildup from the command center, tears streaming down her face as she watched the neural readouts spike dangerously. Hold the pattern, she urged them through the connection. Focus on the counter-resonance. As the void cascade approached the Helios Nexus, the human network projected a massive golden barrier. Where the darkness touched the light, reality itself seemed to shudder. For a terrifying moment, the barrier flickered, then strengthened as the human minds behind it united in desperate resolve. The cascade, for the first time since its appearance, slowed. Beijing's Unity Plaza had transformed from celebration to chaos in moments. When the precursor message first resonated through human minds across the galaxy, people simply stopped in their tracks, eyes wide as ancient knowledge poured into their consciousness. Minutes later, the implications of that knowledge had fractured the crowd into opposing factions. We are their creation, their weapon against the darkness, shouted a young woman, golden Terra Nova energy flickering around her, hands involuntarily as her emotions surged. We should embrace our purpose. We're nobody's tools, countered an older man, his face flushed with anger. Our history, our struggles, our achievements, they're ours, not some alien experiment. Similar scenes played out on every human settlement, across thousands of worlds. The precursor revelation had shaken humanity's collective identity to its core. They had never evolved on Earth naturally, but had been genetically engineered and placed there as a safeguard against the void cascade. In the orbital conference room above Earth, General Zhang faced the concordant peace delegation with newfound understanding. Your ancestors knew, didn't they? That's why you controlled technological development so carefully. You feared what would happen when we discovered our true nature. Elder Krovax, the ancient concordant representative, nodded slowly. Not all of us knew the complete truth. The oldest records were fragmented, passed down through generations. We knew only that the precursors had created a final defense and hidden it on a protected world. Elena studied the treaty document floating between them. And now you offer peace, recognition of Earth's sovereignty, and reparations for millennia of suppressed technology. Why should we trust you after all the deception? Because the truth is now known to all, replied Ambassador Telzar, her 6 wings folded respectfully. And because we need each other to rebuild what the cascade has destroyed. The treaty terms were unprecedented. Earth would become the center of a new galactic order, with humans recognized as equals to the eldest races. Technology sharing would be unrestricted, and colonies destroyed in the war would be rebuilt with combined resources. It seems too generous, Zhang said suspiciously. It is practical, Krovax responded. Your species has proven itself not just capable, but essential. The void cascade has retreated but not disappeared. We will need the Terra Nova network again. As the negotiations continued, Dr. Reyes received an urgent message from Sophia Okonkwo, who now led research efforts on the largest precursor site discovered yet. Elena, we've unlocked another layer of the message, Sophia's hologram reported, excitedly. The precursors didn't just engineer our Terra Nova sensitivity, they embedded their own consciousness patterns in our genetic code. In a very real sense, we are their descendants carrying fragments of their memories buried deep in our DNA. Elena's mind raced with implications. Is that why human innovation seems to reinvent technologies we've never been exposed to? Are we remembering rather than discovering? Exactly, Sophia confirmed. And there's more. The activation of these dormant memory patterns is just beginning. The precursors designed the process to accelerate gradually, preventing psychological damage from too much information at once. So what are we becoming? Elena whispered. That's the question everyone is asking, Sophia replied. We're still human, but we're also something more, something the universe has been waiting for. Dr. Elena Reyes stood on the observation deck of Lunar City, marveling at how much had changed in 20 years. Earth gleamed below her, its continents now interwoven with golden Terra Nova energy channels visible even from space. The formerly barren lunar surface behind her teemed with life in vast biodomes and crystalline habitation towers that seemed to defy conventional engineering. Still taking it all in after all this time? Asked Sophia, now Admiral Okonkwo of the Harmonious Fleet. Her uniform bore the emblem of the Terrestrial Harmonious Accord, a golden earth surrounded by a diverse array of stars representing member worlds. Every day brings something new, Elena replied. Yesterday I watched a child communicate telepathically with a Lorathi hatchling without any neural implants. Their brains have started adapting naturally to interspecies communication. Evolution itself had accelerated among humans born after the cosmic revelation. Each generation showed greater Terra Nova sensitivity and cognitive capabilities that blurred the line between technology and biology. The consciousness transfer technology developed from precursor templates had revolutionized diplomacy, allowing humans to temporarily inhabit the bodies of allied species and experience their perception of reality firsthand. The Vexari ambassador spent a month as a human to understand our art forms, Sophia mentioned. Now he's composing music that combines both species' sensory experiences. Remarkable what happens when ancient barriers fall. Their conversation was interrupted by an alert from Elena's neural interface. The dimensional rift is stabilizing, she announced. They're requesting communication. The observation deck's windows transformed into display surfaces, showing the massive anomaly that had appeared at the edge of the solar system 3 days earlier. Scientific analysis had confirmed what seemed impossible: a breach between parallel universes. "This is Dr. Elena Reyes of the Terrestrial Harmonious Accord," she transmitted. "We receive your signal." The response came in mathematical patterns rather than words, complex equations that restructured themselves into meaningful concepts when processed by human minds. The entity from the alternate universe requested Earth specifically to represent all known civilizations in cross-dimensional negotiations. "They recognize us," Sophia whispered in awe. "Even across dimensional barriers, they sense our connection to the precursors." As diplomatic preparations began, Elena received a priority message from General Zhang, now Supreme Coordinator of Interstellar Affairs. "The Galactic Assembly inauguration is beginning. Your presence is requested." Elena smiled. 20 years ago, I was a physicist who accidentally discovered Terra Nova energy. Now I'm about to watch Earth officially become the capital of known space, while simultaneously preparing for first contact with another universe. The massive holographic display showed New Delhi, where the gleaming new Galactic Assembly building dominated the skyline. Representatives from thousands of worlds gathered in the central chamber, which had been designed to accommodate beings of all physiologies and environmental needs. As the ceremonial proceedings began, Elena felt a familiar presence touching her consciousness, the echo of precursor memories embedded in her DNA. They had prepared humanity for this moment across billions of years, guiding evolution itself toward this culmination. "We've fulfilled their hopes," she thought. "But we've made this journey our own." Earth had become more than just the most powerful planet in the universe. It had become the keystone of a new cosmic order, one built on unity rather than control, on shared knowledge rather than suppression, on the remarkable potential that had always lain dormant within humanity's extraordinary mind.